Hey everybody, I'm Mr. Wright, and welcome to Wright at the Movies. If you're looking for reviews on movies, you've come to the right place. Today I'm talking about X-Men Apocalypse. It stars James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Oscar Isaac, and a bunch of other people. On the internet lately, it seems to be big fights between Marvel fans and DC fans on which one is better, and meanwhile, Fox and the X-Men movies are just kind of there too. At this point, X-Men is the only Marvel property that hasn't been eaten up by Disney in this big over-encompassing Marvel universe. And I sorta like that and also sorta don't. I always saw X-Men as kind of like a separate entity anyways. Their story was so complicated and so rich and so full of characters that there was really never any room for any extra ones. But anyway, Days of Future Past was a big surprise, and Deadpool was tons of fun. So Fox has been on a new high note lately, which is kind of a bummer because this movie's not all that great. It's just not. I mean, I liked it, but there's a lot more flaws than I'd like to admit. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun watching it. It's a solid popcorn movie. There's some bad stuff, but there's equally a lot of good stuff. So the X-Men are now in the 80s. The total, complete, 100% 80s, with the hair and the outfits and everything. I mean, Jubilee is in this movie. Jubilee. The most 80s comic book character ever. Jubilee! So this ancient Egyptian named Apocalypse shows up, and he says he's the very first mutant, and he's gonna take over the world and cleanse it and only leave the strongest and blah 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 superhero movie.
Some call him Apocalypse. He was some kind of god.
So the X-Men have to get together and fight him and his horsemen. And then there's a movie. What I really like about X-Men stories is they're always character-centric. It's always about the people and not so much about beating the bad guy or saving the world or having big fights in space. It's always about people, it's about how they feel, and it's about how these powers can really affect the world. There's never any freak of the week bad guys. It's all about character. Except for this movie. But this movie's all about big loud destruction and a big cartoony bad guy. And while I enjoyed the heck out of myself watching it, we have to acknowledge that we're missing something here. There's still great character moments, but it's buried under all of this explosions and big, huge spectacle stuff. Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy are still the best parts of these movies. Their characters are amazing, and they have incredible chemistry. I could seriously watch an entire movie of the two of them just playing chess and arguing with each other. I love, love, love those characters.
Just because there's not a war doesn't mean there's peace. He's coming.
Jennifer Lawrence returns as Mystique and looks so bored. I mean, I get it. She signed the contract before she became the Jennifer Lawrence, but I can't stand how bored and disinterested she looks through all of these movies. I get it, you don't want to be here, but I know you can act. I've seen it.
If I'm going to teach your kids something, I'm going to teach them how to fight.
The younger versions of Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Storm also all show up in this, and I like them all a lot.
Not all of us can control our powers.
Then don't.
See, I'm flip-flopping like crazy. I like one thing, I don't like another. Good, bad, just like this movie. It's all over the place. Quicksilver's awesome in this again, and he has another show-stopping, amazingly fun scene, and I'm really glad to see that he has a bigger role in this movie. I still really want to see him team up with his sister, but I don't think that will ever happen. Oh well.
Magneto, he's my father.
What?
Him and my mom, they did.
No, I know.
But the four horsemen are all kind of a waste. They mainly just stand around and pose. They barely even talk. Minus one big fight scene at the end, I kind of question why they're even there at all.
He always had 4 followers.
Like the Four Horsemen.
Even Psylocke, played by Olivia Munn, says like 2 lines. And that's such a bummer. Olivia Munn. I love Olivia Munn. And of course, Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. I think his performance is totally fine. He does really well as the character, but unfortunately the movie doesn't seem to give him a lot to do. The character is so over the top and cartoony, I could never really take him seriously, and he looks really uncomfortable underneath all that makeup.
Together, we will cleanse the earth.
There's pacing issues, directing issues, story issues, and a really confusing timeline. But there's also sometimes great directing, great acting, and some really fun action.
I've never felt power like this before.
Honestly, overall, I think this movie's biggest problem is that it came out after Days of Future Past, which was almost too good. X-Men Apocalypse is big, loud, and sometimes kinda dumb, but there's also a bit of a charm to it. I don't know why the critics are being so hard on it. I had a good time watching it. I'm gonna have to give it 1 thumb up. Did you see X-Men Apocalypse? What did you think? Comment down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Mr. Wright. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Well, you've been busy.
We had a little help.